Okay, well, today I wanted to do a video on nuclear war. Now, since I was a child, I've been obsessed with the power of nuclear weapons. Why? I don't know why. I spent hours and hours and hours studying these magnificent weapons. And it's something that you just gotta be in awe of these weapons. You just gotta think of them as ultimate power in this world, and that's really what they are. And in today's world, it's just thrown out everywhere. Nuclear, World War III, and people just can't grasp the gravity of this situation of what is going to come. Now, I've prophesized that nuclear war would come for a long time. And for whatever reason, we're not there yet. But I feel like we're teetering so close on the brink that most people, it's just going to hit them like an absolute, curveball. So we're going to discuss some of the nuclear war possibilities and threats. Now, obviously, it hasn't occurred yet, but the last nuclear weapon was detonated in 2016 by North Korea. So this is not like historical things. Yes, atmospheric tests haven't been conducted in a long fucking time, but these weapons are here, are there. They're everywhere. They're a part of our world, so to speak, and they're not going away. They are not going away anytime soon. Now, obviously, you could say the correlation between nuclear war happening legitimately is probably to do with Ukraine. And yes, you'd be pretty hard pressed for think of any other situation that could occur that would create World War III, atomic warfare, hell, death, destruction on an unimaginable state. Now, Zelensky says he wants to join NATO, and he'll give up his presidency, and just like that, it's all over. Isn't it unique? Isn't it ironic, people, that this war suddenly just ends? Are you people stupid? Everybody thinks that fucking Trump is just gonna come and we save the world. Oh my God, everyone, look, we saved the world. Trump's not gonna start World War III. 4 years after, there's gonna be a new president, and after that, unless they change something with the Constitution and he just makes himself God Emperor of mankind, Russia knows that, and America's enemies know that they change leaders constantly. So democracy in that way makes Western countries very fucking weak when you think about it. So I mean, yeah, they might be strong now, but maybe Trump's aggressive nature is gonna start it. And we got North Korea, we got China, we got all these. So I mean, every day you can get a bizarre new story from Ukraine on, oh, this is this now, and oh, look, don't worry about it. Western news is very quick to say, don't worry about it. Just go off. Don't worry about it. Go back to buying shit and working at a job you fucking hate. Go back to that because yeah, it's never gonna happen. Nuclear war will never happen. People online, they say nuclear war will never happen. It's never gonna happen. Those people are afraid. Those people are scared because they know when the nukes drop, it's over. Their life of luxury, their lives of decadence and having whatever they want and skip the dishes delivered right to their doorstep by some struggling immigrant. It it ends. The world ends. People end. Our civilization, everything that we put together. Now, granted, maybe in 100 years it comes back. Maybe in 50 years it comes back to some degree. But if nuclear war, even a limited exchange starts, it all goes away, all of this. Now, obviously, you would say that the biggest threat is Russia. Now, Russia is a very, very, very militarized nation, and they almost take sense of pride in it. So, there's Russia's outwardly aggressive nature. I mean, let's face the facts here. They invaded a smaller country. They have nukes, and they told everyone not to fuck with them. The U.S. kind of tried to by shipping weapons to Ukraine and supporting them, but nobody directly intervened. And that show of power emboldens the Russians. Now I'm going to show you a video here. This is, this is a Russian video on them kind of bragging at, look at this. This is the Russian military coming for you. Watch this freaky fucking video because this is like, yeah, them saying we're coming for you, basically. The Russian military is at your doorstep. Jesus Christ. Imagine that knocking on your doorstep. Now they got Trump on their side. Dancing as rocket batteries fire into Ukrainian cities. So, I mean, this is Russia being very outwardly aggressive in the way they conduct themselves, and they have the most nukes. Isn't that a sight? So I mean, yeah, you look at the arsenals here. Well, I'll give this up a bit. When you look at the world's nuclear stockpiles, there's 12,000 nuclear weapons in the world. Russia has the most. Not all of them are in service, so to speak. But when you look at this number and you say, how the fuck do they know? And why would China tell them? Us. We're the enemies. Look at us. We are the enemy. If you live in North America or in the West or in Europe, Western Europe, we are the enemy. We are NATO. We are the people that they want to dethrone, dismantle, and gain power on. So when I see this number for China, I think bullshit. You're not telling me in some facility somewhere underground they're not developing nukes, testing weapons technology, developing their arsenal, growing their arsenal. You really think that China, this gigantic country, massive military, massive rule, you're telling me they just stopped at 400 nukes? They just said, you know what, we're just not going to make any more nukes because the U.S. doesn't want us to. The U.S. has 5,000 nukes, and Russia has almost 6,000. And I think these numbers, it all just paints a picture of that. Now, obviously, there's some smaller countries that have them. We got Pakistan and India. Now, Pakistan and India, most people don't realize, but this is a massive problem. These are two nations that are pretty much on friendly terms by the thinnest. The thinnest definition of allies or friends or tolerant friends. It's like it's like a neighbor who always blasts loud music at 4 a.m. It's like, you're just asking for problems here. So India, Pakistan, big problems there. Nuclear weapons could be small on scale. You know what I mean? It could be eliminated. It's not going to be this big world-ending event where all the nukes they've pointed at Russia and U.S. between the two just get set off at once, and it's the end. This is a small limited thing. This is the atom wanting to be split. This is the atom saying that maybe a couple nukes go off in India and Pakistan, and now you got full-blown war. Well, that drags in other countries. Well, now there's other things, so it could start on a very smaller picture as just like the apocalypse, or maybe it starts with tac nukes, and then it's on to the thing. So extraordinarily concerning that India and Pakistan, unrestrained, have nukes pointed at each other. All someone's got to do is hit the big red button. Let's not be coy about this. Even the most diehard liberal, nothing bad ever happens, the world's a peaceful place person can't admit that these two pointing nukes at each other is not a great idea. Not a great idea at all. Now, another one that comes up is Iran. Now, they told us in the summer that Iran was close to having a nuclear weapon. Don't worry about it. Close to having a nuclear weapon, and they still haven't stopped it. So, what's to say that Iran doesn't have nukes right now? What's to say that China and Russia haven't helped Iran get nukes? It's not only possible, it's very probable that they already have nuclear weapons. They haven't conducted a test yet because there are sensors all over the world that pick these things up. So if they tested, it emits so much energy, even the smallest contained nuclear blast, that sensors all over the world and in space could detect these things, even underground. So, I mean, you really, really gotta wonder if they have a set of functional nukes. You know, nuclear weapons have data. They have you don't necessarily need to test the nuke, but until they conduct an atmospheric test, they can't say definitively that Iran has nuclear weapons ready to go on the walls. But China's had working nuclear weapons for a long time. Russia's developed the nuclear weapon to in many degrees. And you know, do these people sometimes like kind of just take uh, take data and conduct this, put it together, boom, you have a working one in theory. Send those at another country that you're warring with, there's a good chance they'll go off. You know what I mean? If you put Mentos in a bottle of pop and throw it, there's a good chance it's going to go like that. So, I mean, this whole thing of I've said before that like if they unless a nuke is atmospherically tested, you can't say it works. It's true on a degree. You can't become a nuclear in the nuclear club until you've tested and have a working one. But you know what I mean. You know, what's to say that next Wednesday they're not going to lob a couple at Israel and just see what happens? It's dangerous technology and it's out there. It's just out there in the wild. It's in our mythos. The problem with creating a nuclear weapon is getting the materials, which nobody can just do, which thank God it's that. But I mean, you know, these materials, when you're a big militarized country, are not as difficult to get, and these things take a long time to develop. The technologies, the facilities, the materials to accumulate nuclear weapons. It you know, it's not outside of the realm of them garnering and having nukes at this very moment, and other associations having nukes. The Taliban. With the Taliban, what's stopping the Taliban from, you know, of course there's US military, there's intelligence that tracks this stuff, disarms this stuff, and monitors this stuff. But really, what's stopping Iran from selling or giving or donating a nuke to fucking Hezbollah? Or what's to stop them from donate Russia from giving the Taliban, who is now basically a country in Afghanistan, the Taliban, a tactical nuke? I'm just saying, there you go, send out our enemies. No harm, no foul. Now, of course, they're going. These have potentially been thwarted, and this is something I would say the U.S. is, because man, can you imagine a terrorist group in the hands of a TAC nuke? I cannot imagine the horror. And they've said for a long time there's lots of terrorist organizations that are potentially looking at doing this, but you know, accumulating a nuke and getting the pieces and putting it together in another country and then detonating it. These weapons have unimaginable power to a person, and to someone who wants to bring destruction. There's no other weapon that even comes close to its power. Now, thankfully, like I said, there's lots of safeguards. You can't just make a Tsar Bomba in your backyard. There's no chance of it. But at the same time, you have these countries that are associating themselves with this type of thing. And there should be more of these. People are spending all this time protesting governments and that, when right off the bat, the nuclear war, the two hippies flowing a sign is not going to change anything. Um, yeah, people know it. We can feel it. Humanity can fucking feel it. And for the longest time, I just didn't care because Western civilization has never really done anything for me. So to see it get enveloped in nuclear war, I mean, things will only get more interesting from there. I find Western society very mundane, very boring. People are very stupid. Uh, there's no safeguards anymore to just how destroyed our society because. So in many aspects, nuclear war might be what we need to restart human civilization in a way that create a better world for us all. And we're not worried about our taxes or how much fast food costs, bullshit like that. Nuclear war could restart all that, and we form a utopian society where people don't suffer, where people don't beg for money in the streets, people don't starve constantly because they don't have money for food. It's terrible. And nuclear war is really the only thing that can extremely change this environment of ours that has become so toxic, almost radioactive, slowly getting us. And that's really what, in nuclear war, that's really what will get you, most people, because let's be honest. I think that a nuclear exchange is going to just be military type targets. They wouldn't go for cities right away, but it might skyball. And there's lots of countries that are going to be unaffected, and the world's an amazing place. It can certainly save itself. So the world could recover from nuclear war, but it could be a lot of problems for a lot of people. And although your chances of getting taken out from the initial uh, explosions and blasts are low, consider especially if you don't live in a city, major cities, the chaos and pandemonium is tantamount. Like, people, and this is why we make movies and stuff about it. Like, can you imagine unimaginable crisis, an absolutely unimaginable crisis? And you know what? Humans are just like that. We could survive. I think we could survive this event because, yeah, we're humans. We're ingenuitive. We basically are like, you know, nothing can really stop us, but definitely the West would change forever in the event of even a limited nuclear war. Look at these guys standing in front of that explosion, that column, and it goes up probably so loud. That is our world. This is a reality in our world. There can really be massive explosions. One day you get alert on your phone. Pew, wee, wee. Russia has launched, blah, blah, to seek cover immediately. The government's not going to give a shit about you. What you got to do is get yourself and get the fuck out and just leave. Hope that you're not in a place that is that, but, you leave, and then it starts the cycle of finding food, avoiding radiation, avoiding people. People are going to be your biggest problem in the event of nuclear war. After this happens, people are gonna think about how greedy, think about how selfish, think about how aggressive people are, aggressively selfish about themselves. Just think about that now when we have authority and police and all the structure of our society that holds this all together. Think about even now how vindictive and how controlling people are. Imagine when they don't have grocery stores anymore. Imagine when they don't have, water running out of their taps. Imagine how people are gonna react because downright, people are spiteful, people are selfish, people just want to control you, and that's generally why we got to nuclear war potentially in the first place. Human beings should never have been trusted with this. People are our own self-destruction. The reason the world sucks isn't because of the world. The world is a great place. There's amazing animals. It's beautiful scenery. But the reason it sucks is because of people. Because people suck. Because people are assholes to each other and they want to control everything. And this is what we get. We get nuclear war. We get untold destruction, chaos, and doom. All because people couldn't get along. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that just something so poetically beautiful? Is that people were too selfish that we had to just take the whole world away from ourselves, and all the tragedy that's gonna come from a nuclear war. You got Trump up there yelling at people and trying to do this and that and the other things. Like, you really think that this is never gonna happen? Are you idiots? Are you people idiots? Do you think people are just gonna stop not trying to nuke each other? People would use any excuse imaginable. Look, that was a follow one. People would use any excuse imaginable to one up someone. They really would. They really would. And it's our own selfish, horrible nature that is going to lead humanity to nuclear war. And it's almost guaranteed at this point. There's just no way it's just not ever going to happen. And anybody who thinks otherwise is kind of stupid because these weapons were made to be used. These weapons were made to be used, and there is almost certainty it's gonna happen. And by the looks of things in the news, probably going to happen pretty soon. So yeah, that's my thoughts on nuclear war. I've always prophesized that this would be the change the world would need to, gain utopia. uh, Nuclear war would start a new era in human history. And I believe truly that that would be for the best because look at the world we've created. So peace out and let me know your thoughts on nuclear war.